Good evening, folks. Mark here. So this video is going to be basically a follow-up to a video I'd made um, last week about how I was dumped over a over a veal cutlet sub and my consumption of the sub. So anyway, I honestly am flabbergasted by the amount of views and responses that that video's got. Now, let me preface this by stating that on my non-ceiling fan related content, I literally might get 10 views, okay? And I mainly, anything like that is generally just a way for me to catalog what I was going through at that time, and for my own like diary of sorts. So yeah, I was not anticipating getting that many responses. So and thank you for those of you who had given me words of encouragement and just nice, said nice things, and I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And if those of you who posted things that weren't so nice, hey, thank you for your opinion. Now, I'm going to elaborate a little bit. So, there were a number of quirks that I have that can be overwhelming to some people, and a number of things that had bothered the woman that I was dating. And for one thing, but besides, the sandwich was sort of the catalyst that, yeah, I know I said cattle, but it was like the catalyst that sort of, it was like the last straw. But there were a number of other things that, had bothered her. For one thing, I have a very, I have a self-deprecating sense of humor. That has been a cornerstone of my comedy act for, over 30 years now. So, but that really bothered her. I think I just fell in love with it too fast. Didn't really give it time. I'll go over I'll tell the story later, but and I just think that maybe she felt kind of felt some pressure, even though that wasn't my intent at all. But she's stuff like that. She always preferred to talk to me through text, and when I asked her out, I just literally just like, we were driving, and I literally just said to her as we were driving, like, asked if you were single, and she said yes. I said, would you consider giving me a chance? And she said yes. So I think maybe she was under duress, I don't know, but we met. What we met was I'm a roadside service technician, and my profession tends to get there's a certain mystique about it, and I think it's easy to get sort of people tend to sort of overly romanticize it, like there's I'm like Prince Valiant coming in on a on a white horse and going to save this damsel in distress. And it's at the end of the day, I'm just a regular guy. I just happen to know how to turn a wrench and operate a utility truck. And I'm just I've got the same flaws and frailties and shortcomings of any other human being. So that can be kind of off-putting. The reality of that might be somewhat off-putting. So we met. I was on a call over to a tire change, and she'd been dog sitting here, in the town I live in, and so I changed the tire, and she was on the donut, and she'd drive all the way back. It was a good 45-minute drive to where she lived. So, or what lives, I think she still lives there, but she had to come back to dog sit there the next day. So immediately when I saw her, I was just awestruck. I mean, she literally could have been a model. She's like 5'7", slender, just a gorgeous woman. And like, oh, there's no way this woman's even gonna talk to me, and much less, ever go out with me. So I, we immediately hit it off and just started talking, and I was in like a state of shock the whole time, and we had so many different similar ideas, and I think it was like a soul resonance I felt with her, like she was just instantly my soulmate, and like some sort of magnetic force that just brought us together, and the cosmos were aligned, um, and yeah, it really was like love at first sight on my part, and so we talked the whole time. It literally took me like an hour to do this tire change. It should have taken me no more than like 5 minutes. But we were talking the whole time, and just having a great conversation. And afterwards, she asked if I had Venmo, tipped me, and then asked to become friends on Venmo. And I didn't even know that was a thing. But so I said, all right, I took a picture of the name and phone number from the service call, and I said, I'm really not supposed to do this. Like, we're not supposed to hit on members or anything. But I said, this is like a once in a lifetime chance. I'm going to text her and ask if she got back okay. She was really worried about driving on the donut. And the next day it was like some really bad weather. She was telling me, oh, I got back. But then, the next day was really a rough ride. So I said, hey, tell you what, come back. I live in that town that she was working in. And so I said, hey, come back. I'll, let you use one of my cars. And then I'll drive your car over to the tire place to get fixed. And so she was a little reluctant. And I said, no, seriously, my car, I'm one man with 4 cars. I said, I can spare one, I just don't want you to be safe. And, so she came back, dropped the car off, took my black Subaru Forester, and used that for the week. And then, we'd agree, she was really interested in the protest rally that I attend every week. And she said she'd come to, she'd like to check that out. So she came, dropped off my car, and then, I dropped her off at the tire place on the way to work. And yeah, it was great. I said I was going to a friend's birthday party, and on the next day, I asked if she wanted to come along. And then she said yes. So as we were driving there, I was actually on 93 North at the time, as I recall, and I had asked her. I just asked, are you single? And she said yes. Said, would you, consider giving me a chance? And she said yes. So I asked, hey, would you want to hold hands? And we held hands the whole way there and the whole way back. And it was probably one of the greatest days of my life. And yeah, I know what you're saying now. Like, I've known her for literally, I met her on January 3rd. I asked her out on January 11th, and I got dumped on February 13th. Like, it was just over a month you were dating. Like, how on earth can you possibly be that madly in love with her? Okay, I'll tell you something. I've never had anything like that in my life, okay? I am the stereotypical incel in every essence of the word. So it was really hard to lose, something that I never had. I mean, I've dated women before, but, I've never had that level of love before I've ever felt for anybody. And, so it was, yeah, that was really rough. And when she dumped me, it felt like the only thing I really equate it to was like if you're, 'cause I'm an avid cyclist. So, if you go out for like, a nice 2-hour bike ride or something, you're just like, yeah, this is great, and, it's a beautiful day and you want to take a nice bike ride. And, as soon as you start to, start pedaling, you get some momentum and you're flying down the street feeling great. And then, smelling the fresh cut grass and everything else. And then someone comes out of hiding in the bushes or something and just jams a wrench into the spokes, and the bike comes jerking to a halt, and you end up, the cyclist falls and ends up getting hurt. That's kind of like that's pretty much the analogy that I can give, is what it to really illustrate how I felt at the time. And that was yeah, Friday the 13th of all things, Friday the 13th, yeah, the day before Valentine's Day. And I received the text, and I just, I felt kind of, I didn't cry. I still haven't cried about this, but I feel I'm not really a big crier, but I feel sick, and I'm not insinuating that, by any means there's anything wrong with like men that are regular avid criers. That's how you process grief. That's totally cool. And I respect that, but that's just not really me. And, so I felt really sick and, really sick and really depressed. And, I, I can't say all the nice things about my, I posted on Facebook as well. I said, hey, I got dumped. I was really depressed. Use some words of, you know, use some kind words and, and oh my God, the encouragement I got from that was just amazing. I was, sort of taken aback, because I have so many, I had friends coming out of the woodwork, messaging me on Facebook, texting me, calling me. One of my best friends and, oldest and dearest friends, she's been, oh, we've been there for each other for 25 years. It's just being really, just a wonderful human being. And so she called me, had like an hour long chat with her, and she was consoling me. And, she and I have both been through really some various love affairs over the years. Or, she's told me about stuff, that I've, told her about women that I've dated, and she's talked about men that she's dated. It's just been really, we kind of, we just kind of help each other out through that. And it's been, and then she called me again a couple of days later, and spoke to me for, we talked for over an hour, and then she, came over, to visit for a while. And it was, yeah, and it was just, I had friends I haven't spoken to in like 20 years that were there for me, and I can't thank them enough. Um, I don't have too many moments of, emotional vulnerability in my life, but, like I generally try to be, the one that consoles other people when they're going through rough times, especially, with my job. I mean, I get people at their worst. I get people crying. I get people, um, terrified. I get people angry, and I'm like sort of the, the proverbial emotional support wrench monkey. So, um, but anyway, I tend to ramble. You know, so I digress here. But, um, yeah, so I met her, and, yeah, the next day, I told her how much I loved her and everything. And, when I met the woman that just broke up with me, and, the next day, she said, well, I really want to, I want to get to know you a little better before I actually have a romantic relationship with you. But hey, let's get to know each other better, and that was cool, and, so we'd hang out a lot. And, went on a number of, we're both avid hikers, so we went on a number of hikes. I hung out over at her apartment, and, we, um, ordered pizza, went back and just chilled out. And, we got to know each other, and it was, it was great. I was really, feeling optimistic. And then it was Tuesday, the Tuesday before she dumped me. We went out for pizza, and, we had a wonderful hike. And, oh, we were playing, playing baseball with, I had my 2 hiking poles with me. And so we were taking we were throwing snowballs at each other, trying to hit them with that, with the, we were jumped into the snow and made snow angels. Like, we had a wonderful time. And then afterwards, we're about to leave, and she's like, hey, you want to go out, we can grab some dinner or something? Yeah, absolutely. And went out, and, went out to a pizza place. And, um, I knew, she'd ordered, a veggie pizza or whatever. And I, I knew she was a big animal rights activist. And for whatever reason, I wasn't even thinking. I just ordered a veal parm sub because, I mean, I like them. I don't eat them very often, but, it sounds like just the right thing, what I felt like eating. And, um, in hindsight, that that was a mistake, a pretty big mistake to, eat something like that. Eat a baby cow in front of, an animal rights activist. But, um, that was, yeah, definitely the last straw for her. And, I had said to her, like, and I thought it was fine. I was eating in front of her. We were chatting and having a wonderful time. And then, at the end, we got back in work. Went out to the parking lot to our cars. And, I, we, I asked, hey, want to come over on, Saturday, and I'll get some before work. I've got want to meet up. I'll I want to get some flowers or something for Valentine's Day, and said, "Oh no, I don't want flowers. You can just give me a plant or something." And that's what she'd prefer. So I said, "All right." I went over to Charles and grabbed a little house plant, and then a small plant, flowering plant, and I took a picture of it and said, that was that Tuesday night. I said, your plant awaits you, and um, then on Friday, I hadn't heard from her at all those 3 days. And then Friday night, yeah, she broke up with me and, just said, we don't see the same on, very similar, where we're not, um, we don't see eye to eye as far as, animal rights and stuff. And then, you know, um, and that was, yeah, definitely the only thing I could think of is that was spawned by the veal cutlet sub because I'd never once, you know, um, I'd never harm an animal or anything. It was just, I'm not going to slaughter it. It's just, you know, um, um, yeah, there's a number of other things that have kind of, some of my shortcomings really irritated her. And, it's just unfortunate, but, I'm glad we're getting this out of the way now and not, 10 years from now or something. And so, I'm still kind of bummed out. I'm still not really, every day is better than the last, but I'm still not over her. It almost feels like, that the night when she broke up with me, it almost feels like I got stabbed with a dagger in the heart, and like, you know, it's not it's still there. I still feel it there. It's like the hypothetical dagger is still lodged in my heart, but I've learned to sort of live with it. And it's like with every heartbeat, it's like you can almost see like the handle of it kind of bouncing back and forth with every, you know, with every time my heart beats. But it's just I've learned to like live with it. It's like all right, there's some underlying pain in there, but I just it's getting better every day, and you know, sometime I'm gonna hopefully find somebody else. I'm gonna take some time off to, before I re-enter the dating pool. Yeah, more like a cesspool of online dating, and you know, uh, it's reinstate my Bumble and Match and Plenty of Fish and all that stuff. Never had much luck with any of that. I went on a few dates, but it was never anything serious. Never felt any real love, and and now, I'm gonna work on myself a little bit first. I need to, get my own self love in check before I can really love anybody else, and I need to, uh, just get my, um, you know, just get myself in order. Get my mental and emotional state, get myself in a better mental and emotional state before I consider dating anybody else. And you know, I don't know when that's going to be. That might be the springtime, might be the summertime, might be next year. I don't know. But yeah, for now, I'm holding up all right. You know, another reason why really this was really hard for me was, I'm an empath, so I feel things like a very very deep sense of very deep emotions, like all the way to the pit of my soul, and this is this is definitely um, when it was just the love, I really felt, when I was still in love with her, I really felt it all the way down. This was just, this energy was, uh, you know, it was amazing. And then once that was immediately removed, and that it was filled with sorrow instead, it was like this void, and it was just filled with sorrow. And that's kind of hard to shake for me. I don't really, you know, it's hard for me to pivot that fast. So, that's about it. I'm holding up all right. I didn't miss any work. I keep on, I can put on a brave face, but I'm still, yeah, like today, I went to, um, because I brought her to the protest rally I go to every week. I brought her there once, and um, today there was a party with, the um, that they about it was about the protest rally, and we all met, and um, there was a like sort of a video montage of a whole bunch of different pictures that they've taken throughout the year or so that they've been doing it, and uh, excuse me. Uh, Sorry about that. So, um, and a couple of videos had her and I standing there, and that did hurt my heart a little bit. But I'm like I said, I'm feeling better. I'm feeling optimistic about 2026. I think that um, there are good things for me in store, and you know, um, I want to thank you all for watching. Stay tuned for more videos. Good night and good luck. Always be kind.